Okay, well, we're back at any rate. Welcome, Chartech Academy viewers. I have with me today Gloria and her Bert. They are co-owners of TSG Networks. We also have Fransisco Rivera. He is one of their engineers. I myself, I am Tim Yossi. I'm the solutions architect at CorKat Data Solutions. Gloria, Herb, Fransisco, it's great to have you on.
Nice to be here, Tim.
Thanks for having us.
So TSG Networks, they're a customer or partner of CorKat's. And Gloria, why don't you start it off? Why don't you tell us a little bit about the relationship and how that all occurred?
So we've been doing this kind of technology work for nearly 40 years in the San Francisco Bay Area. And we've been doing cloud computing since about 2000. Mostly our initial cloud application, we had clients in our office, and I should admit we still have one here, but we've been moving everybody to data centers. We have significant data center experience of working with an outside data center because we really moved those clients out. And I am really hoping that most people, and I'm guessing most people, won't have the same kind of startup experience with CorKat that we did. But I just to give you because it illustrates a lot of what I feel about our relationship. And at 1 o'clock in the morning, one morning, I got a call from our back office remote monitoring system saying that the data center servers were inaccessible. At about 4:30, we got a call from a senior member of the data center saying that we'd been hacked. What I found out later is at 5:30, senior engineers from the insurance company arrived. At 10 o'clock in the morning, ransomware was paid. And by 11, we were on the phone with clients telling them we didn't know when they were going to be back up, but we had to let them know that, our servers had been hacked. At that point, after about 2 weeks, we finally got our supposedly Ryuk and Ryuk-free data back. But what happened in the days after we had gotten hacked is we got CorKat on the line, and literally within hours between Fransisco and Tim's team, we were able to get our infrastructure up and ready. And had we had the data right then, we might have been up, in a day. Because once we did get the data, within a couple of days, and that includes the time it took us to get our applications ready, our clients were up and running, a retail environment, everybody was, working. I think, like I said, hopefully nobody here is going to have to go through that, but that really illustrates, what happened and how quickly everything can happen.
Yep. Yeah, I certainly remember that night. I'm sure Fransisco remembers it as well. It was a long night, but sometimes when you have an emergency like that or you get hit, you need to be able to pivot really quickly and do whatever it takes to get the customer back up. Fransisco, how would you compare your experience with CorKat to some of the other cloud providers that you've worked with in the past?
Well, from a technical standpoint, I felt that there was a degree of flexibility when working with CorKat. At times with the previous provider, it felt that I had to always have a technical support when dealing with user issues, either with performance or just general issues logging into the server. However, at CorKat, I really appreciate the fact that we can make changes to the environment, such as server specifications, without needing the help of a technician. And because of this, it allowed us to, on multiple occasions, to really respond rapidly to performance issues on the server, but also disk spaces on the server. On the other end, from a user standpoint, connecting to the server environment has been seamless. And in the past, we would constantly, be getting calls from users saying that they're unable to access, the Citrix site or the servers. But however, with CorKat, we've never received any of those phone calls, and I know from the user end, they're really appreciative of that.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a really good point. You guys are an infrastructure as a service partner, and you have your vCloud dashboard that you're able to go into. You have console access to those VMs, and you're able to make changes on the fly if you need to, right?
That's right.
So, you made a really good point about connectivity and that seamless connectivity. I think, in this COVID era, a lot of people are working from home. A lot of people are working at odd hours of the day. Herb, from your perspective, how has the COVID era sort of changed that landscape in the IT industry?
Oh, absolutely, Tim. From the first step, when we started getting quarantined because of COVID-19, the world just started changing. Everything became more of a work from anywhere society. And as most of us are working remotely these days, it's imperative for us to have a scalable on-demand offering, and it has to be provided by a responsible vendor, which we have gotten through CorKat, which Gloria explained that came on just in a critical stage, and we were desperate for something, and so in this day and age, people are working, not only from home, but they're traveling, all over the world. We've got clients that have users that have taken a month off to go to Ireland to work with work from home with their parents, in Ireland, and then
Wow.
2 months later they're over in Italy working with friends. So the hours have all changed. We're not that we were a 9-to-5 operation before, but now we have to be available 24/7, and we have to depend on our data center, CorKat, to be available. You guys offer a really flexible, scalable service, and it meets those needs of all our organizations that we work with. And I think we all feel that the forming this relationship with CorKat was really vital for TSG. You guys have allowed us to focus on our business and give us a peace of mind that our clients' data and applications are being handled based on industry standards and industry's best practices, that we don't have to worry about those things anymore. We can build our business from internally and what we do. And actually, the great part about it is that we don't have to worry about the bloat of adding internal staff, because you guys handle all the details on that side. And we laugh in the office because you guys, say there are no hidden fees, and that's absolutely true. This is really a bonus spend for us. We love the fact that there's no metered usage, no partner fees. It's just really you guys offer a fully scalable pay-as-you-grow model.
Yeah, that's a great point, Herb. We are fixed costs. So, just like you said, if you're working in Ireland or, Italy, that's outside of the regular office hours. And what we notice is a lot of people, when they're, in one of these metered data centers or metered cloud computing, they have to turn off the servers at night, and then they have to turn the servers back on. And that might have been okay, pre-COVID, but now what we're noticing is that people are accessing their data at all times all hours of the day. So that's a really good point. So one thing that I've noticed also as well is that not only have CorKat been a help to TSG, but TSG has been a help to CorKat. We've actually been able to utilize TSG out in the Bay Area as remote hands. So I think what's really cool is that there is that relationship, and it's sort of symbiotic.
Absolutely, it's more of a true partnership than a vendor client relationship.
Absolutely.
And, because we've been doing this for so long, I think that the difference between having kind of a slightly adversarial relationship with your vendor as opposed to a true partnership, that is really, the whole process of us being able to go out, and we have the same comfort feeling. I think Fransisco would say this when we go on the field, that if we do a job for you, you're going to support us, all, all the way through. And I do think that is really critical.
Absolutely. And Gloria, you had mentioned that you had learned about CorKat through Chartech. Is that correct?
Well, yeah, the thing is, by the time we got to our emergency situation, we had already been talking to various cloud providers, and we had some other options that we could have taken advantage of. Part of the reason, besides all the things I've already talked about, that we went with CorKat was because we got really high recommendations from Chartech, and we've been a Chartech partner for a while. And frankly, I felt like if something happened and you guys like totally flaked out, I had people at Chartech that I could call and complain, and they would help me get you guys to do whatever it was that I wanted you to do. Fortunately, we haven't had to do that.
But it's true. I mean, it kind of, when you're part of that bigger family, you're able to sort of hold each other accountable, I think.
Exactly.
A little bit.
Right. Can I say one other thing that related to that is that part of the struggle that I think you go through as an MSP or and trying to figure out what you're going to do with cloud computing is, first of all, it just seems so confusing when, in fact, when you get into it, there's a lot of things about it that are simpler, but the fact that that now you're putting your trust in a whole nother company that you don't know, you've never been, we've never been to Loveland yet, although we will come someday. And then all of a sudden you're saying, okay, I'm like giving you my client, and, it's a struggle. I mean, it really is hard. And I think it's the reason why a lot of people don't do cloud computing, at all, not just CorKat versus somebody else. And anyway, so that I think is a really key factor, to be able to like really have that transparency and the trust and the things that we really think matter from having such a long experience in cloud computing. And you guys really, hit the mark.
So we were able to jump into this relationship with confidence because of our experience or recommendations from the people from Chartech that we trust already.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that Gloria made a great point. I mean, this is your livelihood. These are your customers. This is their data, and to send it over to some third party, in Loveland, Colorado, I can imagine that is a little frightening.
Yeah.
So it does take a lot of trust, and I do appreciate it. Well, that's about all the time we have for today. Gloria, Herb, Fransisco, it's been a pleasure.
Absolutely, Tim. Thank you for your time.
Thank
you so much, Tim.
Bye-bye.